Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the Khalsa Story Time. My name is Prabjot and I hope you're all well and enjoying this show so far. Again, any feedback, please keep emailing me. Thank you for the emails that I have been receiving. If there's any requests for any Sakhis, the Sakhi I'm going to tell you today has actually been requested by someone in Coventry. They didn't want to tell their name on TV, but never mind, I've got your email and I will be reading this Sakhi. Now, every morning we tell you a Sakhi and I hope you do take the morals of these Sakhi and implement them in your daily life. But it is the holidays, some might be back at school, some might not be. So make sure you make the most of these holidays by doing something extra. So I always encourage you to do extra part or do something extra to improve your life. But I'm going to carry on with my Sakhi now. The Sakhi I've chosen today, which has been requested, is about Guru Nanak and the leper. So, on one of Guruji's travels, him and Mardana found themselves in a small town in India. It was very dark and stormy, and Guruji and Mardana were drenched to skin and ankle deep in mud. They were scanning the countryside in hope of finding a place to spend the night. So imagine it's a cold, dark, stormy night, you're drenched and there's nowhere to go. Guruji and Mardana were finding somewhere so that they could rest. But there was no sign of any building nearby where they could find shelter. There was nobody about in the stormy night to direct them or even to tell them to stay at their place. So they had no alternative but to walk on and to continue searching. Guru Nanak and Mardana could not have been travelling in a worse situation than one in which they found themselves. It was pitch dark with not a single star to give any light. So it was absolutely dark, as you can imagine, no electricity in a storm. It was pitch black. The storm was raging. Travelling about in the country at the time of Guru Nanak was very difficult. The roads were in very poor condition. So I always say, back in those days, kids, there weren't cars, there weren't many facilities. Even roads were really broken because we've got tractors now and lots of things to help build roads. Back in those days, there was nothing. There was no road signs or even maps to help travellers. That's how poor the conditions were. So, as thunder crashed and lightning set the sky, Mardana shouted with joy, "I can see a little cottage, Guruji. I can see one. Look, over there." So he pointed. "Surely they can't refuse us shelter on such a night like this. I am sure people who live there will be kind and will help us and will let us sleep." In hope of this, they started walking. So the hope of finding a dry place to spend the night came into their minds, so they walked as quick as they could, reaching the cottage. As soon as they reached, it was very dilapidated. The whole house was broken apart. Guruji and Mardana stood outside this house. They knocked outside the door, but there was no reply. So they finally found some shelter. It was a small hut. The hut belonged to a leper. He was not used to any visitors, as his terrible disease made him untouchable. So this person had a disease, and everybody used to shout, just get scared of him because he looked really scary because of this disease. He was an outcast from society. People just left him to it, made him just rot in this small little hut. People used to ignore him, bully him, and laugh at him. He suffered from constant pain from the wounds and spent most of his time feeling sorry for himself. So he was very lonely and all by himself in this hut. He made no effort to make himself busy with the housework or cleaning. He never even used to tidy his own room. But he always used to sit there suffocating himself in this small, dark, damp hut and feeling sorry for himself that he's got this disease. When Mardana knocked again, a very angry voice came inside the hut. "Go away! Leave me alone. I'm a leper. If you come near me, you will catch my disease, so go away." Mardana and Guru Nanak Dev Ji heard this voice and they thought, that's strange. Mardana knocked again, so he went knock knock. And he said, "Do not worry. We know you have the disease. We have come to help you." At this time, the leper was shocked. He came to open the door. Mardana and Guruji could see that the whole man's body was diseased. His room was so filthy and there was a really horrible smell coming from inside. The leper shouted, "Help me! Help me? Why should you help me? Everyone, including God, has turned his back on me. My family, my friends have all rejected me. Everyone in this village runs away from me. How on earth are you going to help me?" I'm always in constant pain. There is no cure for my disease. No one can help me, not even God. If you are not careful, you might end up catching the disease, so I suggest you also run away. But Guruji ignored what he had said, and he continued to ask the leper if him and Mardanaji could share his place for the night. Without waiting for the answer, Guruji entered the cottage and started to clean the mess. This absolutely horrified the leper. The leper thought, oh my God, the whole world runs away from me. What is Guruji doing? Why is he cleaning my own house? He never had any human friends, being rejected by relatives, mocked and teased by the village children, and shunned by society. He had given up hope, and self-esteem had nothing but self-pity. But Guruji listened very patiently to his complaints, and then told him to face up to life, not by sitting and moaning and grumbling, but to do something else. What the leper needed was hope and self-esteem restored. So Guruji cured the leper's mind. Guruji had magical powers, so he cured the leper's mind. So the leper saw nothing to be wrong with life, and he wasn't wasting his life in anger. Once his mind was cured, the Guru set about helping to cure his body. He bathed the leper, wrapped his wounds in clean sheets, and blessed him. In the morning, so the morning came, the weather improved as well. The leper unwrapped himself. He found his body was completely cured. The bitterness against the human race too was gone. And once more he turned to God, not to curse God this time, but only to praise him. Now he could think about joining his family and friends and doing some useful work to help others rather than wasting his life in self-pity. So from that story, kids, as you can tell, here's a brief picture of the leper. But there will be a picture up on your screen as well. This Sakhi is absolutely amazing, and thank you to that blessed person for requesting this Sakhi, because from this you can tell that Guru Nanak Dev Ji did not discriminate against anybody. So we are quite lucky, because Guruji's messages throughout was not to discriminate, to treat everybody the same, treat everybody equally, and to love and respect everyone. So even today, if there was someone diseased, we would never go next to them, never even look at them thinking, oh, I don't want to look at them, I might catch it, for example. But Guruji here has been so practical, and he went to this hut, cleaned the hut for him, blessed this diseased person. He cured his mind first, so that his mind becomes positive, and then he cured his body. And I think that's an excellent Sakhi with beautiful morals, because Guruji has showed us that we should be lowest of the low, never think we are better than anyone else, and we should always, always think of God. So thank you for requesting that Sakhi. I enjoyed reading that Sakhi, and I'm sure you guys did as well. That's it for this morning's show. Hope you are well and enjoying these shows, and I will see you again very soon. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.